Hello everyone, welcome back to the Robo Samurai channel, and today I'll be reviewing the Transformers Kingdom War for Cybertron Trilogy Battle Across Time collection. This is Maximal Grimlock and Autobot Mirage, and yeah, this came in from Amazon. It's kind of unexpected. I think they were planning on the release date was later, but it came in, so let's talk about this thing. So first of all, let's take a look at the box. What a great piece of artwork, you know. So we've got this thing going on here, and you can see it's got that cool artwork that it's got Maximum Grimlock and Autobot Mirage on it. Yeah, that's pretty much it. And you got the side art there. You got Starscream, and you do have Dinobot there, and then you've got that thing there, and then these things. So what's cool about this is that, as I alluded in my other video, if you take these boxes, you can put them together. So let's put these guys aside for the moment so that we can kind of show that off. All right, so, and stay there. And there we go. So let's take a look at this like combined. And here it is. And so that's kind of neat. Right there. You guys can see that. That's kind of what it looks like. The whole artwork piece together. So yeah, it's pretty neat. Now there are size differences in these boxes, just to let you know. So so that's what they look like though. So neat. You could probably angle these, but I'm going to go on ahead and just set it in the back here while we take a look at everything else. So now there is... just to let you know, this thing comes in this box here, which is very similar to the box that came in. The only difference between this and this, see, it does fit perfectly in here, and this is how they ship it, pretty much like that. And it fits just like that. Now the thing is that Amazon shipped it in this box. So I had to take off all the labels and stuff, and all my stuff on there. But, you know, this is what they shipped it in. And so there wasn't any damage to the box, just a little bit here, but there was no damage to that. So I did appreciate that. So it was very cool. They were able to kind of accommodate. So I'm going to set that one aside, and we'll put this in the background while we take a look at the first of our figures, and that'll be Maximal Grimlock. Let's take a look at him first. And this is a very interesting figure because I don't know. I think that this was a part of the Beast Wars line. I haven't really, I really wasn't collecting Beast Wars stuff back then, so it's a little different now. I did have a Grimlock figure in the Universe line, but it wasn't like, not a Grimlock figure, I'm sorry, a Dinobot figure, and I believe the head sculpt was a lot like this one here, so this does kind of remind me of that. You know, he's basically just a recolor of the Dinobot mold, except for the head. So that would be the only thing that's a little different here. So not too much else to really report on this one. But here's what it kind of looks like. Let's put him on a little pedestal. I got one of these, and we can kind of just give him the old spinaroo. And you can see that he's basically what it is, just advertised. He's pretty much just a recolor. But I'd say that the mold itself is pretty decent, actually. You know, in comparison, I don't think that there's any mold degradation issues on this guy or anything like that. So you can kind of see here his head up close, and it is on a ball peg. This thing wants to focus on the back art, which is very cool, but that's not what I want to focus on. All right, so you know his head's on a ball peg, and it does, like I said, it does evoke the memory of like the original sculpt for Dinobot. So, but yeah, you're pretty much familiar with this. He has the wrist swivel, the elbow can go that far. He can reach back, and maybe he can scratch his back. I don't know. Anyway, so there he is there. Yeah, he's pretty cool looking. I like his colors and everything else. At first I was like, well, okay, so I'm kind of in it more for Mirage than Maximal Grimlock, But I actually like this figure. This isn't a bad figure at all. So he does come with his tail weapon thing and the sword that goes in it. And it is exactly the same. There is no difference really between this and Dinobots from the earlier ones. So you can take it and part of the transformation, you can kind of close that up. If you want to keep it on his back, it's possible. You could just stick it in here and then you can just have it, you know, just hanging out back there if you want. And for comparison, here he is with that. Here's Dinobot. And yeah, he has the same thing going on, except for the head sculpt and the colors itself. So let's take a look here. And you can see, you know, let's put his arms down. And you can see the differences in the head sculpts there. So, you know, they both kind of have pointy chins. And, all right, so let's see here. Come back. Stay off the background art. But you can kind of see here that they have, it's like Dinobot's head. It's just a little bit thicker on the back edge. But, yeah, so that's kind of what he looks like in comparison with him. So, neat. Yeah, and of course he does have this weapon as well. Let's see here, you know, his little purple sword. Now, on this one here, I don't think it's colored at all, if we were to compare those pieces. Yeah, it's just white, and even the handle, I think, is white. Yeah, so not too much going on there that's different. Of course, you could put his sword in there and give it to him like that, but nah, let's not do that. Okay, so yeah, so there it is. And go ahead and shove this back in here. And we'll give this back to Grimlock. I mean, back to Dinobot. So there he is there. And we'll take him out for a minute. All right, so we've got these here. And like I said, this is how you would pretty much turn his, put it away, put his sword away. And there's his tail. And you can see it's got some of the, it's just got some white bands there on the gray and then white underneath. So very interesting. And then you can see here he has some red with some brown, which looks pretty nice. He has his shoes look like they're painted half white, so that's an interesting thing right there. Yeah, so, and for, he's got the green eyes that's painted. Let's see here. Can we see that? Can we focus? It likes the box in the back so much, I'm going to have to move the box. So, all right, that's fine though. So yeah, so that's what he kind of looks like. Yeah, I do like him. He's pretty cool. He's pretty cool. So yeah, you can see some of those detailings. And of course, he has the usual waist swivel. He's got a full waist swivel, and then he can do the splits. He can go this way. He can go that way. The knee bend is thus, and then his ankle tilt can go all the way over that way. And he really doesn't have toe tilt, but you can adjust these if you feel like it. Things like more of a transformation joint than anything else, but you can use it if you feel like it, if you want to pose this guy up. So that's what we got going on there. So we can also compare him with Maximal Skywarp. So this is Maximal Skywarp. I said last time in the video it was Maximal, I think, Thrust. Whoops, that was my bad. And there was another thing, is that I also said that these should be, transformed like this, which is how you would do Air Razor. Air Razor's instructions, and actually his instructions are like this. However, properly you want to put the claws forward on this guy. So that's actually how it would be. But actually, I'm just going to be calling him Bird Person, so that's fine. But that's what he looks like in comparison to him. And then we also have, here he is next to Sideswipe from the same thing. And then here is Optimus Prime. And yeah, so there we go. Kind of cool. This is the Netflix Optimus Prime, by the way, so in case you're wondering. All right, so let's get these out of the way. And even though we know what the transformation is like, and we've covered it before, I'll go ahead and transform it really quickly here. So what I like to do is I like to raise his hands all the way up and then kind of aim them this way. And then we go on ahead and move this out of the way, and then I like to move the arms here, the little arms. They peg in there to the back of the wrist here. Move these out of the way, like up and into the rear. Now, I'm not following the official instructions. This is just like when I transform things, I do follow those instructions, and then I find the best way. So what we do is we go on ahead and then we lift this whole thing up here, and then you're going to turn this like that. Do the same thing on this side. So lift it up a bit, and then turn it so it goes like that. And then we're just going to push those up and out of the way, and we're going to deal with those later. Now, what we want to do is we're going to unclip this thing here. We'll untab from these tabs here. So we're going to go on ahead and do that. And then we're going to take this out all the way. And then we're going to lift up this. This actually tabs into here. This plate right here tabs into the back of the dino head. See that? So we're going to move that up and out of the way. And then we're going to take this entire thing here and go all the way back like this. And I'm going to lift this up, and then we're going to tab this into here, covering up the robot head. And it should stay focused at this point. Like that. See? So just to show you again, like that, stretch it out, and then put it back. So it should look like this on the underside. And we're still keeping these kind of out to the side for now. Okay? Now, move these out of the way. And we'll deal with this. The waist here, you're going to swivel 180. And then we're going to lift up the dino head. And then we are going to open up the calves. So you want to open up this calf, swing it all the way out, and then go on ahead and close up the foot. So do this, just like that. You want to do the same thing on the other side. So we'll go on ahead and open this up, and then close up the foot, and kind of align it just like that. Alright, now we're going to take this, and these are going to go over here. Now there is a tab here, and a slot there. So that's going to go into that. And then this, there is a tab here, and there's a slot up here, and we're going to make that all fold into together. So if we were to do this, we're going to make sure that this is folded all the way so that that tab meets that slot just like that. And then we're going to take this, and you can kind of close this down a bit. But you're going to have to lift this up. And then this tab right here is going to go into this slot here. So kind of a dual action here when we transform it. So we're going to, sometimes the leg will come a little unhinged there, and it'll pop out of its slot. But that's the idea here. So you're going to move all that, move those into that area, and then push that in. So push that in there, and push that in there. See that? So 1, 2, and then the third piece will be to lift this over this piece here, and then just make sure it lines in there. Do the same thing on the other side. So fold this, do this. Make sure everything's lined up properly. And then this will go here. See, so it almost wants to just go there automatically. Almost. You gotta kind of help it a bit. So then we got those there. So this is what you should have. Those tabs should be in the back part of that plate right there. And then these tabs should be, the knee part should have gone right into here into those tabs there. See? So that's what you got going on. Okay. Now we're going to take these here, and we're going to close these up. So these tab into each other like this. Now make sure that you want to make sure that these have some pretty good clearance there. But these should tab very nicely together. In fact, these two plates tab together better than on the Dinobot toy, and I'll show you that in a bit. So there's that, and then those close up like that. So basically you have that shoulder joint just lined up thusly, so everything can close up properly. And then we're going to go on ahead and just fold them down like that. And then there. That's it. Now I'm going to open up this here and this here, and he's doing the chicken. Not right, not quite. So you're supposed to fold them up like this, open and move over here, do that. Take his tail. Remember I showed you already that you close that, and there's only one way to peg this in. You peg it in there, and you can open up Maximal Grimlock. And here he is in his beast mode. And like I said, I don't like keeping him like this. He looks like Roger from American Dad, and I'm just like, so no, we don't want to do that. So what I like to do is I just like to kind of have him like maybe holding a golden disc, or, you know, flipping people off. So anyway, so there he is right there. And yeah, he looks pretty good. He's solid. He transforms well. In fact, he kind of holds his shape pretty well right there. You know, and this one here is not. Oh, there it goes. But you see, everything kind of tabs together nicely, and I can get this in a nice position here for the Dino mode. So yeah, there you go. Go on ahead and put them there. Actually, let's put them on the little tray that we got, and we'll give them a once around. Yeah, he looks really good. He's got like these black dots here, and then he has all of these little paint like gradient here. It's not really a gradient, but it's just like kind of differentiating some of the parts at the top and the bottom, you know. And yeah, he looks really good. Pretty good looking dino. And then his legs are all painted white right here, so it actually comes off looking a little bit better here than the Dinobot. I'm not saying I don't like the Dinobot, but yeah, this is very cool. So there's that. Okay, and for comparison, here he is with Dinobot. So let's move him out of the way, at least this little platform. And you can kind of see the differences between these two. And see, he's got like this white here on the top of his joint there, and he's got the orange here. But they still both look great. I mean, these are great looking Dinobots. Well, Dinobot is a good looking dino, and then Maximal Grimlock is a good looking Maximal. So there we go. So yeah, looking really good. And I like the differences between the two, even though it is a recolor. Well, there's your raptors, right? So yeah, very nice, very, very nice indeed. So yeah, let's go on ahead and we'll set him aside, and then we'll set Maximal Grimlock aside for the moment, and we'll take a look at the other guy that comes with, and that is Mirage. And this is a slight remold, repaint of the other Mirage, the Mirage that came with Siege. Now I don't have the one that's the Decepticon one, but yeah, so this is what he looks like. And you can kind of see here he's got very kind of G1 color-esque palette, although the Siege one also had this. So the head is pretty much the same on the Siege, and I can show you that here in a second, but this is what he looks like. So all the way around. Now there is one thing that is kind of interesting about this mold, outside of the slight remold and the slight transformation difference this has, is that this here, it does not fit on his shoulder at all. There is no place to peg this on his shoulder, which is kind of unusual. You can't even peg it here because there's no holes there. So on this shoulder piece, so yeah, there's a hole here in the back, and he has some under his arms, so you could use that alternatively, but there's a hole right here actually, but it doesn't hold. That's right, it doesn't hold. So let's see here, not even that, it does not hold. How about this? Does this hold? Nope, doesn't hold. So it's kind of bizarre. So he could sling it under his arm, I suppose. That's one thing he can do. And then he can, you know, say, hey, what's up? And shoot a missile in your face. So let's take a quick look at this thing. So this is his gun here. And this is the same. By the way, these accessories are the same one that came with Siege. And so the gun, there is no remold differences here. And this rocket launcher, which this does come off, is the same one. Yeah, so it's really not much of a difference. I will point out the difference right now, though. And I'll show you this in comparison with this guy. So here he is. So here's the Siege one. And you can see probably right away that, outside of his hand not being out, is that, yeah, there's a place to mount it right here. So, this, let me take out his other, you can see these guns there's no difference. I mean, it's a slight shade difference of gray, grayish silver, but it's essentially the same gun. Okay, so, and then you have this here. This is a very interesting thing. So it's the same rocket launcher, and the only difference with the Siege one is that the Siege one actually is painted. So if you look here, it's painted all over the edge of the barrel, which actually matches more of what the toy was. So kind of interesting. So this one's not painted. So if you really wanted it, I suppose you could just paint it up like they did. So so that's how we got that. That's what we got going on there. But yeah, so let's take a look real quick here at, hold on a sec. There we go. So let's set him aside for the moment, and let's take a look at this guy's articulation. Now, this guy's articulation is pretty much the same as the other one, and the head sculpt is exactly the same. The head moves 360 degrees around. He has elbow a little over 90 degrees. His arm can go 360 degrees. He can go out that way. He can't really move this arm much forward or backwards, but there is something interesting. I think this is due to transformation. He does have an ab crunch like that. That's pretty cool. So that's neat. And then, yeah, it swivels like that. So, but I don't know if that was on purpose or what, but there it is right there. See? So, and very little backpack, by the way. You do see the wheels. There's some kibble in the bottom here on his legs. This is a very, this is a lot similar to the Siege version of this mold. So, you know, there you go. I kind of like this. This is neat. There's no real clear plastic here. The other one did have some clear plastic, and there's some remold here. Let's take a quick look here and see just a bit, and you'll see that these things actually do transform slightly differently. And yeah, they do have this one has the clear plastic here, the Cybertronian writing here, but these are different. These are slightly remolded pieces here on his legs. And I never thought about this. Does he have ab crunch? No, he doesn't. See, I can't do it on this one, so I can't. Can I? Yeah, nope, I can't. That just kind of does that. So, but again, I mean, they both look very G1. I mean, so I think that this one does pull it off, even though both of these are faux chests, okay? So, and this Autobot symbol is ginormous compared to this one. It's a little bit less. This has the Autobot symbol and 26, and I think that says ORC, orc. Okay, there you go. So, that's what we got going on there. But a lot of these pieces are pretty much similar, like these here. Let's take a look. If you look at his wrists here and the arms, they're very similar in structure. They're not exactly the same, but they are similar. So very, very interesting. Oh yeah, and these things here, they do have bicep swivels as well. So you got it like that and that. So you can pull off some pretty good stuff. There is some ankle tilt. And some toe tilt here. And, well, it's toe tilt. It's really foot tilt. Okay, so he can do that. I don't think he can stand that way, though. He's way too top heavy. All right, so, yeah. So, all in all, pretty good. Oh yeah, I forgot to do this. He can do the splits, and he can do the splits. He can go forward and backwards, and the knee bends kind of like that. So he can do some of your stuff here. If you want to get him in some more dynamic poses, he does have a post in the back here, so in case you want to put him on a stand. All right, so there he is. All right, so let's go on ahead and transform, get him into his alt mode, and we'll go from there. Now there are some differences between this and this, but first thing we start with are pulling the wrists in, and then we're going to take this here, and we're going to lift this up. Actually, unpeg this and leave that up. Take this and then lift it up. This is actually that ab crunch joint. You're going to take it and then you're going to kind of untab it and pull it all the way out. Stretch it out like that. Great. Now we're going to take this and we're going to lift these up right here. So this here is going to go up. Okay. And what you're looking at here is that there is a tab and a slot right there. So we're undoing the tab from the slot on these. Okay. Now, we're going to take these wheels and flip them down like that way. Then we're going to take this head and we're going to flip this all the way around until it snaps back into place there, and then we're going to re-tab this back in. So that slot goes into that tab. So in both modes, it's going to tab in. It just depends on which side you want it in. This way or this way. And right now, we're going for this way. Now, let's work on the legs. So the legs, you want to turn these that way. Then we're going to take this and lift this whole section off and pull it up on this double hinge. Pull this toe so that it straightens out as you're doing this, okay? And the idea is we're going to move this all the way up on that double hinge so it goes forward over here. And we're going to do the same thing on the other side. And then we're going to do the same thing on the other side. So we're going to kind of hold it just like this, and then we're going to flip that out. Now this is a problem I have with this, is that this, so let me show you this, guys. This is just kind of like a friction joint. But if you look at this here, do you see how that goes through? Sometimes it catches on this edge and it'll pop right out of that friction joint. So what I think would solve it is if we could file this tab down a bit. It's a little too big and it wants to take the whole thing with it. So you're going to take that and flip that all the way around like that. And then you'll be ready for that part right there. And we're going to do the same thing with the other leg. Okay? So, again, lift up on this, give yourself some room to work, double joint, flip this up, and bring this back down. Bring this around. Now this one doesn't have that problem because there's no piece there. So now we have these. We're going to go on ahead and collapse them on top of this here. Okay, so just give it a nice squeeze and put those all together. Whoops! Just squeeze against these pieces. Don't squeeze against the wheels. They'll collapse in on you. All right, so then we got these here and that there. So, and that's a thing that I'm finding is a problem. So, if you look here, the faux spoiler here has some tabs. Those tabs are supposed to go into these sides. There's some slots here, and they're supposed to lock in here. Now, they're supposed to lock in like that and keep the whole thing together, but I'm finding that this does not want to stay together that way. So I don't know if the tolerance is just a bit too tight or what's going on there. So just to make you aware, that may not be an issue on your copy, but that's an issue here. Now, let's take and work on these here. Now we're going to take these, lift these over thusly, and then we're going to fold these down. So this piece here is going to fold on top of this, like that, and it's going to go in front of that. It's going to go behind this area right here. Okay, and then we're going to, what you're supposed to do is you're supposed to straighten these spoilers out and interlock them. And as you do that, you're supposed to take these, push these down, and then squeeze them together. There's a tab and a slot right here. So go on ahead and push those together and push this down. And it's going to be angled like this. That's what you're going to look at when this is done. And then this is supposed to go right there, and that's supposed to go there, and then tab the spoilers together. And there you go. There's Mirage in his alt mode. And yeah, it's pretty good alt mode, I'll have to admit. I like it. He has the 26 here, and one thing I did notice is that this 26 is a little off. So if you look here, it's kind of pointed up. It's like here. So if I flip this around, the 26 it just doesn't seem like it's the right spot. Now, I do plan on getting some repro labels for this here. So, but he does have the cockpit, and again, it has that issue here where I cannot appear to close this all the way up. Now, there might be some extra plastic in the way, and tolerances might not quite be there. I'll have to figure that out. Here's what he looks like from the underside, and you can see this whole area right here. This faux chest is now underneath. I think in the other one, and I'll show you that in a little bit here, the faux chest was sticking out of the back, so it kind of looked like he had two fronts. So, but I prefer this alt mode. I think this is a good-looking alt mode. Now, instructions say that you can go on ahead and you can plug his weapon in here, and you probably want to turn his missile sideways, and then you can just plug it in here, and you can plug in his gun on this side. And they tell you that's where you can put his stuff. So there's kind of what that looks like. Okay, and for comparison, here he is with Siege Mirage, and yeah, let me take these off here, and we can just take a look at their car modes straight up. And we can kind of see the differences between the two. So that's what we got going on there, and you can see some of the differences outside this not wanting to close correctly. I will probably see if I can't fix that somehow. But anyway, regardless, that is what they look like. You can see that they kind of have their advantages, and they both look very much similar. They have similar parts. There's no clear, these have clear parts right here, and here's the back of them, and you can see exactly what I was talking about. There's that faux front sticking out the back, making it look very much like it has two fronts almost. This one here actually just has engine detailing on it, which is actually pretty cool. So I like that, and if I can just kind of maybe, there it is. It's kind of hard to see, but yeah, it is there. This has got a little bit of engine detailing, which is cool. I like that. That is very cool stuff. So that's what they look like from the sides. Here's what they are from the back, and here they are from the other side. So there's what you got going on there. And yeah, this one here does not have weapon ports on top of the spoilers. If that's what this thing is supposed to be, a spoiler here, but yeah, it goes here. You know, this is the only place you can really mount it in their car mode. So for Siege Mirage, and yeah, I think this looks really good. So overall, you know, maybe he can take this. I think it's a big disadvantage for him not to have his shoulder-mounted cannon missile. But I'm sure that there's going to be a third-party mod for this if that's something that you're looking forward to. You know, I might look at it, and I might even do it. You know, and see what we can get going on there for it. But outside of that, I think that both of them look good. Both of these look good in their robot modes. So yeah, it's kind of a nice thing. You know, either one of them actually look good. So if you can't find that Mirage mold, I know they make a all clear version of it. I didn't collect that one. But if you can get a hold of this one, and this set in particular, I think it's worth it. I do like this set. I like this version of Mirage. I think they did a pretty good job of it. And I'm looking to decorate this up with a little bit of repro labels and getting some of that going on there. So that's what we've got going on here. So we've got Maximal Grimlock and Autobot Mirage, and this is the 2-pack. It's an exclusive from Amazon. You can pre-order it from there, or actually you can order it from there, and they should be able to get it to you. It's, I think the status as the time of this recording says that it's in stock soon. So that's pretty much what we got going on there. So if you like this video, please give it a thumbs up. If you want to watch any of my other Transformers reviews or any of my model reviews or model put-togethers, please subscribe to the channel. I always got new stuff that I'm trying to put up here. So thanks a lot, and we'll talk to you guys later.